So people ask, what's consulting like? What's supply chain consulting like? So there's 3 bulleted lists here. One is it's fast-paced. It is more work than you thought. It's an 8 o'clock class every day of the week. Okay, and it's got problem sets and homework, and it's an 8 o'clock class every day.
And the way we got into the supply chain business was this. We were providing intermodal services for the #1 ketchup maker in the United States, a place called Heinz in Pittsburgh. And Heinz decided that they were going to outsource their load tendering, and that is every day plants tender loads to carriers, and they were doing it on a fax machine and had an operation in Pittsburgh, and they decided they were going to outsource this. We didn't have a supply chain group, and we said, if we don't go after this business, we'll probably lose all the rest of the business we're doing with Heinz. And so we spent a year with Anderson Consulting. I don't even know whether is Anderson still in business. I don't even know. They merged with somebody else. We spent a year with Anderson Consulting designing a computer supply chain tendering system that would do everything from order management in the beginning to payment of a freight bill in the end. And Heinz is a pretty big company, and at that time.
As a logistic issue, the fiscal year ends on September 30th, and this year, I think NAAID, the Allergic and Infectious Diseases, had some money they needed to spend. Their office that they needed it for is in the Congo. It's a permanent office that's headquartered there to do research on Ebola and other infectious viruses. And so they called back to us at we have 12 hours left at the end of our fiscal year, and the federal dollars, if you don't spend it in the year that the Congress gives you the money, it vanishes, it disappears into thin air. If they didn't spend their money, they were going to lose it. They needed 2 vehicles, and so they came to us to ask us, well, how can we get these? So we sent our money, or their money, they sent it to us from their headquarters here in Bethesda, and then we ended up sending it to the U.S. Embassy in Congo, and then the embassy bought the vehicles for them, and all this happened within about 12 hours. And the vehicles were already on site because they had to buy them in the country.
I think the thing to take away on this one is that there's a very real impact of costs on mode selection. The higher fuel costs go, the more people are going to balk at air freight, right? And the more people are going to balk at expedited ground freight because it's just going to be more and more expensive. Right? It's a law of economics. Everybody will put up with it for a certain period of time, but demand is not completely elastic, and at some point in time you'll hit the tipping point in terms of pricing that it will have a very real impact on modes. And I think we'll see a lot of a shift over to truckload. We'll see a big shift over to ocean and away from air and away from expedited freight in general.
If you're a train dispatcher, just think about if you were dispatching cars on a 1-lane road. That's what it's like, because they got trains going in both directions. So you got to put one in the siding, get the other one around. Siding, one around. It's very difficult. So the more we can double track, and we've got the entire Chicago to Florida pretty well double tracked, so that trains can come down, northbound train, southbound train, not even have a problem. And our intermodal trains, believe it or not, are allowed to pass all the merchandise trains because our freight is hot. So, as you buy these packages for your friends and ship UPS, we're the ones hauling those packages from origin to destination, believe it or not. So, talked about just-in-time service. I'd say that's pretty just-in-time service we have there.